Hello everybody, it's me, your favorite chef, James MacInnis, and today we're in the dining room of my restaurant where I don't feel like doing anything. Boy, have I had a day. So for today's video, I'm gonna just phone it in and pour some bottled ranch dressing all over my salad.
Make it from scratch.
You want to make it from scratch? Okay, I'll show you how to make it from scratch.
So to start, all you have to do is get 1 cup of milk and then add 1 cup of mayonnaise. Then just grab yourself your favorite package of flavored ranch powder and then just mix it up into your bowl. That's really how easy it is to make ranch dressing from scratch. No fuss, no muss. That's all you have to do.
All right, well, we have this from scratch. Very simple. Just get your favorite flavor pouch, follow the directions, and you're good to go. Now let's pour this on our salad.
I said make it from scratch.
You mean that's not scratch enough? You want us to make another version? All right.
Okay, this time get yourself equal parts. We're gonna go 1/2 cup sour cream, 1/2 cup mayonnaise, and 1/2 cup buttermilk. We're gonna combine that all into our mixing bowl. We're going to add in a tablespoon of dill, 1/2 teaspoon of parsley, 1/2 teaspoon of chive, way too much garlic powder, salt and pepper. I was supposed to use onion powder and I completely forgot. Mix this all up with a whisk until thoroughly combined. Taste it to make sure you like it. I'm adding a little bit of lemon juice to increase the acidity. We're going to give that another mix up. You might want to taste it one more time. And then, you see, I'm adjusting the seasoning again with a little more salt and pepper. Mix her all to make sure it's combined. Give it one last.
Okay, now that was from scratch. We used our mayonnaise, our sour cream, and the buttermilk. We used our own herbs and spices. So let's pour this on top of the salad and just enjoy a nice quick lunch.
I said make it from scratch.
You mean you want more scratch than that? Okay, all right, I feel you.
To make our own sour cream, we're going to put 1/4 cup of 18% cream into a bowl, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Whisk with a fork, it'll start to curdle right away. You can then put this in the fridge for about an hour for it to fully set, but through the power of TV, I have one already made ready to go. For this version of mayonnaise, we're starting with oil, egg, mustard, lemon juice, and salt and pepper, all inside of a mixing bowl. And then we're going to hit this with an immersion blender. And we're just going to blend this until we get a mayonnaise-like sauce. It can be thinner than what you're used to for jarred mayonnaise because this is going to go into a salad dressing. You're just going to want to go until it's fully incorporated and completely mixed up. You'll have something that looks like this, and then you can continue on. With a little bit of B-roll from last week's homemade butter video, this is where we got all the buttermilk for today's ranch recipes. It was all the buttermilk left at the bottom of their mixer after we made all this delicious homemade butter. Right, so now that I'm done making a mess everywhere, we're going to get that buttermilk, our homemade sour cream, and our homemade mayonnaise all incorporated. And now it's basically the exact same procedure as the previous from scratch version. We're going to add in our dill, parsley, chives, garlic and onion powders. We're going to mix it up with our whisk. We're going to check for seasoning. We're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper and some lemon juice as necessary. You always want to make sure that you're tasting it all the way along because you don't want to miss an important step. I wasn't quite happy with the amount of dill in this, so I added some more. I think I went a little too heavy in the mustard for the mayonnaise part. We're just going to keep on whisking it up, and we're going to keep adding different flavors till we enjoy it. It's got to be good. I did a version 2 with a more traditional looking type mayonnaise recipe where we're adding egg, vinegar, and mustard, whisking that up. And then just like if you were making a creme brulee, we're going to add in our oil a little bit at a time. We're going to put about a tablespoon in to start, and then as the emulsion forms, we're going to start adding a little bit more. And then as we keep whisking, we keep adding more oil. Now this doesn't have to be whisked all the way until it is so thick that it's like a jarred mayonnaise, because we're not making mayonnaise. We're making mayonnaise to use it in a salad dressing. So you don't have to put as much air in it. You can leave it a little runnier. I mean, think about when you pour vinaigrettes out of the bottles. They're thicker than water, but they're thinner than, say, ketchup. For me, I say I want my salad dressing to be just a little thinner than ketchup when it's something like a ranch. So I'm not gonna go full bore on this and whip it till it starts to get have that meaty thickness to it. Now, if you were doubling this recipe, you could use it in a food processor. I'm gonna taste the mayonnaise because we want to season along the way. So let's add a little acidity, a little salt and pepper to get this right. And this way we're gonna have two completely from scratch versions with different mayonnaise variants. We're gonna continue along with the same. I measured out a 1/4 cup of the mayonnaise. I used the original, or the second from scratch sour cream, the one that I made at the start of the video. The buttermilk, again, is all out of that B-roll from that homemade butter that we did last week. Just mix it up, get it incorporated, add the buttermilk, and then we're going to hit it again with another little quick seasoning montage of dill, parsley, chive, onion powder, garlic powder. We're going to mix it up. I like to get this all mixed up well before I go and hit it with the salt and pepper. We're going to taste it to see that we like it. I screwed around with this version less than I did the first one. I think I put too much mustard in my first mayonnaise, and that's why I wanted to make a second mayo version. Whisk it up until you are finished and happy and satisfied with the flavor. And now we got a little shot of putting this thing away. Saran wrap it if it's going in your fridge. I'd recommend making this an hour before you need it. If you got a lot of stuff going on in your fridge, use a Sharpie to write down what it is. Maybe even the date and time that you made it on. That way you know, especially because there's raw egg in this, you know to throw it out in 3 days. Perfection.
All right, now let's pour this all over our salad. I don't think we can get any more scratch than that now, can we? We made a mayonnaise, we made our own sour cream, and through the magic of B-roll, you saw how to make your own buttermilk. So I'm pretty sure we can pour this all over our salad now. And look how rich and creamy that is. I don't want to make a mess on this tablecloth. We'll just sit it there. Homemade is always the way to go. All right, now all seriousness aside, or all kidding aside, I should say, we've got our different variations of how you get ranch dressing lined up from the most store-bought to the least store-bought. Now let's take a taste and see if it's worthwhile. Alright, so this definitely has that let's dip some pizza in it kind of feel. To me, that's what this is good for. You're going to want to use this for, I mean, you might just want to use ranch dressing on anything. Some people just love it. I love to use it to dip pizza in. I don't really tend to eat it much on salads. Now, the one out of the package, tastes just like that jar of ranch dressing or ranch dip that's in the chip aisle. And that's probably because on the back of the package was also a recipe to make it that way. Now we're getting into the from scratch versions. All three were made with my homemade buttermilk because I didn't want to waste the money buying a buttermilk just to make the one with bought from scratch ingredients. These two were my homemade sour cream and two different mayonnaise recipes. You can just see how thick this one is that has the bought mayonnaise in it. That tastes good. It tastes fresh. It tastes light. It looks thick because it's heavy, because it's that mayonnaise. But it tastes fresh and uplifting. And there's a little bit of a bite at the back. I might have went a little crazy with the pepper. Now these are the two full scratch versions. Now you might have noticed when I was making the mayos for these, I didn't whip that mayonnaise hard like you would get it out of a jar. And that's because they're going in a mayonnaise, so I didn't need to. And to be honest, my apprentice may have borrowed the food processor, so I had to make it with a whisk. That's got a nice tang to it, and as you'll remember, I may have slipped with the garlic powder and put just a little too much in. And I was eyeballing the mustard, so it's a little mustard forward, but I like that. I really enjoy that one. You can see this one, you can see the way that the dressing just pours off. I think this has the best consistency for a salad dressing out of all of them. It's also really light. This is really light and refreshing. So there you have it. Today we made 4 different levels of from scratch, from the most basic, not really from scratch, all the way to the, wow, you put a lot of effort in the salad dressing scratch. Come on back next week, and thanks for joining me this week in my kitchen. I've been Executive Chef James MacInnis.